A milestone in Nigeria's political evolution. Governor General Sir James Robertson and the newly installed All-Nigerian Council of Ministers come to pose for their official portrait following swearing-in ceremonies in Lagos, the capital. Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa assumes the new post of Premier of the Nigerian Federation, heading a 12-man federal cabinet. A few hours later, the ceremonial opening of the Federal House of Representatives draws a large crowd. National unity is the keynote. The people share the feeling of their leaders that British statesmanship has created tremendous goodwill in Nigeria. Independence will come gradually and constructively through steps like these. Here is the Minister of Labor, Chief Festus Okoti Ebo. There is a demonstration at the arrival of the new Prime Minister, who calls on all Nigerians to put aside tribal differences and unite in the cause of national independence. The Governor General arrives. Before entering the House of Representatives, he inspects and takes the salute of the Queen's own Nigerian regiment. The inaugural session of the Federal House is followed by a reception where the leaders meet informally. The Governor General, the new Prime Minister, and other personalities discuss the future course of Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa. Nigerian and British leaders meet in London to discuss the future of self-government and eventual independence for the Nigerian Federation. Dr. Nmamdi Azikiwe, the Sardona of Sokoto, and Chief Obafemi Awolowo, premiers of Nigeria's 3 federal regions, Dr. Enderle, leader of the Cameroons, and Minister of Transport Abubakar Tafawa Balewa are prominent delegates. The conference agrees to increase the membership of Nigeria's House of Representatives, to establish a federal Senate, to create the office of Federal Prime Minister, and to broaden the powers of regional self-government. Nigerian and British leaders are hopeful that the Federation will achieve independence in 1960. This is Kano in northern Nigeria, one of the most historic cities in all Africa. To Kano, whose walls go back maybe 3,000 years, come proud horsemen and merchants of the desert. To Kano comes a steady stream of people from many parts of the north. Many come to see the ruler, the Emir of Kano. Near the mosque, under the walls of his palace, the Emir holds court. The dye pits of Kano are known throughout Africa. The barber makes his living in the crowded marketplace where merchants come from far and wide. In Kano, a door need not be locked, for the Emir's law deals severely with thieves. Aerial crossroads of Africa, Kano is also becoming a modern center. There are many new buildings, hospitals, schools, a post office, a modern airport, and several industries as well. In the future, there will be much to report on the growth of Kano and indeed on the growth of Nigeria.
Nigeria, tucked in the bend of Africa's west coast, takes a fateful step on its march toward independence in October 1960. And the eyes of the world turn to the crowded cities and sprawling villages of this nation of 35 million people, the most populous country in Africa. For months, Nigeria and its people have throbbed to the excitement of campaign rallies and speeches. But to the world, this is more than a contest among party leaders. First, it is a test of national unity for Nigeria, a vast federation of 240 tribes, each with its own customs, traditions, and languages. Second, it is an indication of Nigeria's future policies in domestic and foreign affairs. As election day nears, thousands of ballot boxes are assembled, each carrying the symbol of a party and the name of a candidate. In Nigeria, where illiteracy is a problem, the voters cast their ballots by box and symbol, and election and party officials are careful to instruct the people on party labels. Election Day. In towns and villages, 8 million Nigerians go to the polls to choose the government that will lead them through the infancy of their independence. Each voter has an index finger dabbed with green ink to prevent anyone from voting more than once. After being checked against the registration list, every Nigerian receives an unmarked ballot and drops it in the box bearing the label of the voter's favorite party. There are 25,000 polling stations, and every voter is identified to make sure that he or she is entitled to vote in a certain district. All adult men and women are eligible to vote, with the exception of the northern Muslim region, where women have been traditionally barred from politics. Television and radio stations beam the results to the country on election night. As the votes are counted in some backward areas, schoolboys are pressed into service as tabulators. In the capital city of Lagos, crowds gather around a huge election board to see which party has captured seats allotted to the different regions. The newspapers put out special editions analyzing the voting trends. In Nigeria's Federal House of Representatives, each region is assigned seats according to its population. The East holds 73 places, the North 174, the West 62, and Lagos 3. Final returns indicate a coalition government friendly to the West has won the crucial election in what one day may be the most powerful country in Africa. Nigeria has successfully taken her giant step. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, a rural school teacher until he entered politics, is named Prime Minister. A man to be reckoned with, a statesman of stature in the days ahead for awakening Africa.
In Nigeria, a railroad tragedy on the Lagos, Kano, and Goro line. About 50 persons are known to be dead. Many more are injured or missing. The accident occurred 20 miles from Ibadan. The railroad tracks had been weakened by heavy rains. Doctors and nurses, aided by soldiers, police, and civilian volunteers, work around the clock to extricate the victims from the wreckage.